Welcome to Dental Brain Crops. I'm your host, Chelsea Myers, and today I'm joined with Mick Janness, the CEO of Oakpoint. Mick, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chelsea. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. So, hey, tell me just a little bit about your history. I love what you're doing. I love Oakpoint and everything that I know about it, but I'd love to just kind of hear on the back end, how did you always know you were going to be in dental? How did all this come about for you?
Yeah, I started in dental about 12 years ago or so. Started out actually on the product side, launched,
Okay.
commercialized a natural homeopathic toothpaste product,
Cool.
and then moved from that product into the group setting. I helped co-found a specialty-only pedo ortho group, which grew from one location to 22 locations in about 3 years, and that was sold upstream to a larger group. And then after that, after the integration of that was completed, I launched Oakpoint in conjunction with our capital sponsor, Longshore Capital, out of Chicago, and a group called Plexus Capital out of Raleigh. So we started in 2019 with one supported practice, and we've since grown to 34 supported practices, roughly 500 total employees, 50 to 60 doctors, depending on full-time and part-time. And we're a multi-specialty strategy. We have everything from general dental to orthodontics to oral surgery to endodontics, as well as prosthodontics. So almost the full spectrum.
That's great. Wow. So what's going really, really well besides the stated?
Yeah, we've scaled efficiently. We've got a great model. It's resonating in the market. The doctors appreciate the finesse that we bring to the model. We're lighter touch in terms of approach and just our overall process and the things that we focus on and where we spend our energy. And I think
Mhm.
the doctors overall really appreciate that finesse that we bring to the process.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe break that down for me a little bit, going from toothpaste to all of these
Yeah.
practices. How did you recognize your passion for wanting to open up dental practices from where you were?
Yeah, I mean, really, it was kind of a natural progression in time, and the opportunity presented itself, so we definitely seized it. You know, there's a huge need out in the marketplace. There are a lot of doctors that are looking for support in these non-clinical functions. There are a lot of doctors that are at what I call a personal inflection point. They want to put the pedal down for their own personal growth. They're looking for a partner to help propel that growth. They're looking for somebody who is in alignment, with their core value set. And if you can find those partners, it's a really good fit. So for me, it was just a natural kind of progression. And here we sit today. Having done it once before, obviously the second time around is obviously easier, more efficient, all the way around. And that's one of the reasons why we've been able to scale, as efficiently as we have, because there's so many lessons learned in the previous opportunity. So excited to be where we're at. We feel like the train is let's call it out of the station. We're running downhill a bit. We've got some good momentum behind us, and just really continue to stay uh, disciplined to our core beliefs. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, I like that. So tell me, you talked about lessons learned. What would you say were some of those lessons that you learned that have made this time around more fluid for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first and foremost, big lesson learned from the previous opportunity to this one is staying hyper focused on a geography and really going deep and not wide. So, in the
Mhm.
previous group, while we scaled super efficiently, we were spread out across multiple states, which placed operational constraints on the business. While we were successful, it was just a little harder, I think, to be successful.
Mhm.
Whereas the Oak Point footprint is deeply concentrated in a geography. We're super disciplined, to our the Southeast, Carolina based focus. We've got almost our entire footprint in North Carolina and a couple of locations in South Carolina as we scale, continue to scale, and we're just going to stay focused in this particular geographic region. We just feel like it's easier to operate, greater level of success. We're absolutely looking at other markets, but those markets are in close proximity to our existing markets. So a little easier to scale. You get much better, lift and efficiencies, uh, cost synergies, operational synergies, and even personnel synergies. So,
Mhm.
we have so much density now in a particular market that we can float, members on the team. across different, functional categories. We've got individuals that can pick up extra shifts on a Friday if they want to work a Friday.
Mhm.
If we've got a practice that's open 5 days a week, just operational efficiencies are really critical, and you see that you get the results of that once you've got that density.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really good. So, how do you talked about your core values. What is your process for attracting people that match that vision that you have for the organization that you're building?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, for us, our number one core value, while we have, several that we kind of abide by, our number one core value is transparency. Transparency in everything we do, and how we operate, from the metrics that are, provided to the team to, how we operate. Uh, as people, everything is, on the table. It's open book to to every person on the team. We host a State of the Union address for all of our doctors on a quarterly basis, and we also host an internal town hall event for all of our members of our entire team to ask questions and receive answers and get feedback and just hear, hey, here, this is what's working right now in the organization. Here are the things that, where we need some improvement, and here's where we're headed for the next 30, 60, 90 days. As we continue to grow the business. And from our perspective, that reception has been just incredible since we've rolled those two things out.
Mhm.
Much better transparency across the organization and much more engagement across everybody within the organization. So everybody knows what is happening, when it's happening, why it's happening. There's no guesswork.
Yeah, that makes things really nice. I'm not sure that I like to guess on much either. What would you say makes your organization unique from other organizations?
For us, I think we do a very good job of hiring a team member base that has a high degree of self awareness, that's focused on what the doctor's needs are. Every practice is a little bit unique. We're not running McDonald's, so to speak.
Mhm.
We're not making the fries the same way at every single location. Each practice needs a little, its own. They have their own flavor, and I think from our standpoint, is we do I believe we do a tremendous job of understanding what those needs and wants are from each practice, and supporting those teams accordingly, and then getting out of their way when we need to get out of their way. And I'm not saying we get it right every time. I'm saying we try really hard to get it right. And from our perspective, that has really resonated in the marketplace, and the doctors that are joining us, and the ones that are calling and reaching out to us, they're hearing about Oakpoint, they're hearing about how we're operating as an organization, and that's just kind of cascading through through the market, and for that we attribute our growth to that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so when you talk about giving people the support that they need and then getting out of the way and giving them that opportunity to fly, how what is your definition of success in your organization?
It's a great question. So one of my favorite things that we like to measure afterwards is just sitting down with the doctors that join, let's call it 6 to 9 months after joining, and
Mhm.
just doing a pulse check. How are you feeling? What's working, what's not. And I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, each doctor that's joined has said unequivocally that their life has changed, materially changed. They're at a better place. They're calmer, kind of in their own being. They're happy with the transition. They feel comfortable with the partner that they've selected, and they said that they're just emotionally and kind of mentally much more dialed into the things that they want to work on, and
Mhm.
they've freed up their time and their energy on the things that they don't want to work on. And that's been communicated time and time again from each one of our doctor partners. And to me, that's success, right? I mean, that's finding the right partner, matching up accordingly, being able to walk away when it's not the right match, and it's not the right fit, and just staying disciplined to that process. So, I mean, I just received a call this morning from one of our docs that joined 2 to 3 months ago, and saying directly that his life is completely different. He feels completely different. He's super excited for the next phase of his growth, both professionally and clinically, and he just feels like he's in a much better place. That's a win, right? And to me, that's success, and that's what we're here for.
Wow. That's so great. And it's so important because, we spend most of our awake hours doing whatever we choose to do professionally. And so having a good beat on that and prioritizing that your people end up having, a full quality, well-rounded experience is just so important. And people have more options than they ever had to do whatever they want to do with their life and with their profession. And so I think that it's a conversation that needs to be had and needs to be had openly about, how are you feeling? What do you want to do? What's next? What's needed for you to feel like you're getting what you are hoping for in this experience? And so way to go. That's great that you're doing that. How do you feel like your experience as an entrepreneur translates into how you're leading your organization?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So when we kind of chart the course, obviously set of core values, uh, that is absolutely near and dear to our heart. It's in our fabric. It's who we are. It's how we operate. The business, right, and the organization. And uh, we use those and leverage that core value set to really drive the vision of the organization and where we're headed. We're extremely open and vocal about what those are and where the organization is headed over the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
We chart all that in the courtship process with every single doctor. We spend as much time as that doctor as he or she wants in that process, and we attribute all of our success to investing that time on the front end to really be able to communicate. Look, this is where we're going. This is where we're headed as an organization. This may or may not be the right fit for you, right? In terms of where you're at in your life and life, personal life plan. But this is where we're headed, and if this sounds like a good fit, uh, let's get you a little bit further down the path. Let's introduce you to other people on the team. Um, it just kind of has a way of working itself out, and we never force anything. We work really hard to make sure we're spending the time on the front end to make sure that the fit is right. It's all about the fit. Um, we don't force any situations at all. And anytime anything ever feels forced, we just we tap the brakes and try to hit the reset button and kind of revisit where we're at and see if this is the right step to go forward. Um, so it's kind of the approach, overall, and I think that just kind of has a way of kind of cascading down through the organization. And honestly, I think the more open and the more transparent you can be as an organization, the higher level of engagement you're going to receive from members of the team. We're all equals. We're marching down the path, to achieve certain objectives, and we're going to do that together, and feel good about it.
That's great. I love it. What advice would you have for other entrepreneurs and executives on how to approach building a business and the challenges that come with that?
I've got to have a lot of fortitude. I think that's a key word that kind of comes to mind. I mean, I look at where we were at and early 2019. No capital partner, no practice yet, no infrastructure. It was me, myself, and I. We had an idea. I had a thesis. Secured the capital, secured the first partner practice to support. It just takes a tremendous amount of fortitude and stamina, really, and that's really what you have to have. You have to have you have to have those things, for it to work. It's not easy. It never is. It might look a little easier right now for us, but it wasn't, when we first launched. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't stress it enough. You just have to you have to just have that in your head going into it. That you're just never going to stop until you win. So that's been the approach.
So is that like a you have it or you don't, or is there something you could do to develop that skill?
It's good. I don't know. I don't know. I've asked myself that question a lot. I don't know. I mean, it is. It's a unique, I think, skill set. I think it's a unique person that's wired that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for everybody, and it just takes. I think it takes a certain something kind of in your DNA, to want to chart that course and go that path because it is unique and different. And it's not for everybody, and that's okay. there's nothing wrong with that. If the world was filled with entrepreneurs, it'd be imbalanced. So,
Yeah.
it's as simple as that.
Yeah. I love it. Well, hey, is there anything else that I haven't asked you about Oakpoint or about your personal journey that you'd like to add to this conversation?
No, I think we're good. This has been great. I really enjoyed the conversation very much.
Yeah.
Great
Me
questions.
too.
And, looking forward to getting, obviously, you engaged with, some of our doctors here soon and our team, and looking forward to taking this next step.
Very good. Well, thank you for your time today, Mick. Nice having you on the
Thanks,
show.
Chelsea. Yeah, thank you very much. Take care.